Extraordinary Americans. My name is Cosmos, and this is Extraordinary America. What is Extraordinary America about? Extraordinary America is about the abolition of financial slavery. It is about the financial freedom of the 99%. Why? Well, you see, the essence of being American and of America has always been freedom, opportunity for a better life, and the pursuit of happiness. But most people, most Americans are not facing that they're not having that when it's coming to the financial front. Most Americans are under financial slavery. For decades, they've been going through a massive amount of wealth and income inequality. Recently, due to the coronavirus, they have lost jobs in a massive scale. And of those that do have their jobs, many are just living paycheck to paycheck, barely able to make ends meet, right? And for a long time, for lots of decades, most of us have been going through stagnant wages combined with inflation. And then to top things off, we've been having massive amounts of debt, whether it is car debt, mortgage debt, student debt, or different types, right? So the combination of stagnant wages combined with inflation and debt leads to like a reduction in purchasing power and overall wealth, which actually leads to a disappearing of the middle class, right? And finally, in the near future, most Americans are going to suffer from a hyperinflation, which is going to follow this coming economic depression, right? Where the prices are going to rise on a massive level, right? And this is going to be due to consistent money printing by the banks and by the government. And so this is going to lead to a devaluation of every individual dollar that we have. And therefore, our ability to purchase something using our money is going to be drastically reduced, especially if we go to the grocery store or anywhere else. So therefore, Extraordinary America is about the abolition of financial slavery. It is about the financial freedom of the 99%. Like, we should not be working for money. It is money that should be working for us. How is this to be done? In the short term, this is to be done by protecting your purchasing power, by investing in assets such as gold, silver, and cryptocurrencies, which are scarce and which are tangible, relatively tangible, right? And this will protect you from the devaluation and eventual hyperinflation of the dollar, which will reduce our purchasing power and make it almost non-existent in the future. And in the long term, this is to be done by, number one, the transformation of the 99% into entrepreneurs and investors on the light side. Number two, the creation of decentralized spiritual economic institutions led by Jedipreneurs that provide a universal basic income along with the 5 essentials of food, water, shelter, healthcare, and clothes, healthcare, and education, right? The same thing that a 1%er father and mother on the light side provides for their children, the same thing the Jedipreneurs will do for the sake of the Father of the universe, because we are all children of one father and mother who are the creators of the universe, right? And the third point is the replacement of the debt-based fiat monetary system with the American dream monetary system. Anyways, in today's video, I wanted to briefly talk about the profit motive and a future American dream industry. And what do I mean by that exactly, right? Let's take an example of like two massive industries, namely the gold industry and the oil and gas industry, right? The gold industry is currently a multi-billion-dollar industry, whereas the oil and gas industry is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. And what do these industries have in common, right? There's a huge amount of capital. It is a capital intensive and labor intensive and technology intensive industries where massive amount of resources were used to either convert gold from gold ore and to attain pure gold, and to also get oil and gas, like to get crude oil and get gas in its crude form and convert it into petroleum and jet fuel and other products that are used by society to basically either get airplanes going or get cars going, right? And so like in the case of gold, and in the case of oil and gas, you have these 4 steps where you have exploration, where there are companies that do exploration and discovering places where they are existent. Then you have drilling and extracting and basically refining processes, right? Where you take this gold ore and then you extract the gold, the pure gold from this gold ore, and it takes a process, right? And then the same thing with extracting petroleum from crude oil, right? You basically have this crude raw material, and then you extract the what you want from it, and then you refine the process, and in the process you basically create you basically get the pure thing. But the main point that I'm trying to make is that it is a very capital intensive and labor intensive process. But because there is a profit motive, and because companies wanting to are getting massive profits out of it, they're willing to invest a lot into making it work. They're basically willing to invest like billions upon billions and take massive risks in order to get these products out into the market, right? And so, what is the point I'm trying to make? What the point I'm trying to make is that the reason why there are massive amounts of human capital and labor capital and like just financial capital invested in these industries is because there was a profit motive, right? All these engineers, scientists going out there and like working day in and day out to extract pure gold from the gold ore, or to get petroleum from the crude oil. They're doing that because they're creating an income, they're having income, and there's basically a profit motive which allows corporations to take risks to do so. So basically now you come back to the question of how to eradicate poverty from this world, right? So you see a lot of places, like if you go to third world countries, or even if you go to America, right, or the Western world, you have so many people that are going through extreme levels of poverty, and they basically barely have food to eat, or they're basically unable to pay bills and all that stuff, right? And they're living through like really financially stressful times. So how do you permanently eradicate that for once and for all? And the answer to that is basically creating the right incentives. And in this case, having the right profit motive. Let me get this straight. Human beings have massive levels of ingenuity, but the reasons we do not solve many of the problems in this world is because of a lack of incentive. And in today's world, in today's age, most human beings want an opportunity for a better life, and they basically respond to the profit motive, or basically to self-interest, right? If there's money to be had in a particular thing, then they will go to great lengths to get it done. And it's not good or it's not bad, it's just what it is, right? So basically coming down to what did I meant originally by the American dream industry and the profit motive is pretty simple, right? So basically in earlier videos, I talked about what is money, right? Money is basically a store of value. It is a medium of account for value and a medium of exchange for value, right? But what is value? For thousands of years, people have thought gold and silver were value because they perceived those objects as value. But the main thing that gives anything value is our perception, right? But if we turn our perception inwards and also understand what the Father of the universe considers valuable, and we can know that from the prophets he sent to the planet Earth over a long period of time, you'll realize that what the Father of the universe considers valuable and what we, in the depths of our hearts, consider valuable is an uplifted human being, right? A human being that has been uplifted, basically the upliftment of ourselves and the upliftment of the people around us, right? An uplifted human being has always been the real store of value, and it's because the Father of the universe considers it as value. Therefore, that should become what money is. And then if you put it into, so basically if you put it, it's not gold or silver that is the real money. It is basically an uplifted human being that's the real money. And if you take it into practical terms, and if you put it within America, that represents basically a person, a human being given the American dream, or at least 1 year's worth of the American dream, right? So basically, if you, instead of right now you have dollar, which is a fiat money, right? And before, the dollar was pegged to the gold, to a certain amount of gold, right? 1 ounce of gold was equal to $35. $35 was equivalent to 1 ounce of gold. And so instead, if the dollar is pegged to an American dream coin or an American dream cryptocurrency, which is basically backed by 1 year's worth of a human being uplifted or given the American dream, then that would basically mean that massive amounts of resources and labor and capital will be utilized towards eradicating poverty and basically making sure that nobody goes hungry and everybody has access to healthcare and education. Why? Because now there's a profit motive behind it. And where's the money coming from? Basically, every time a human being is uplifted, the same way when every time under certain conditions a Bitcoin is created, every time a person mines for a certain amount of time, or every time pure gold or gold is created, when you take it out of gold ore and transform it into pure gold, same way through the act of service in the name of the Father of the universe, the way the Father of the universe wants it. If you serve a human being for a certain period of time in a certain way, then a coin will be created or a cryptocurrency will be created, and then the dollar will be pegged to that cryptocurrency, which will be the American Dream cryptocurrency, and then that money will be circulated through the country, and therefore that will become the monetary system. With that being said, everybody, corporations will line up left and right to give people the American dream. There'll be entire American dream communities where people will be served 1 year's worth or whatever amount, depending on the constitution depending on what the constitution says is an American dream, and they'll be serving it over there. Why? Because now there is profit to be made, and that is how you basically get rid of the concept of poverty. Because believe it or not, we are all the children of a 1%er father and mother on the light side, because that father and mother is the creator of the entire universe, right? And then we all, and therefore under that guise, we should all be given healthcare, education, shelter, food, water, and all of that stuff, and a universal basic income, or basically in a certain way the American dream. But practically, what's going to get human beings as a whole to basically uplift each other is going to be essentially the profit motive. Because if you take a look at all the biggest industries, all the technologies, all the massive innovations that have ever happened, right? And you'll take a look what inspired the people to do it. It has always been like the profit motive or the opportunity for a better life, right? And it is where it is, right? It's not good, it's not bad. It is where it is. So what we need to do is we have to redirect the essence of human nature towards the upliftment of humanity, because otherwise people are going to be hungry forever, right? Because until we reach a stage where we treat everybody as one family member, right, as we would our own family, right? We treat people the way we treat our own son, our own daughter, our own brother or sister, right? With love and compassion. And we wouldn't want to see anybody starving in the street. Until we don't reach that stage, and it's going to take thousands of years of evolution probably to get to that stage, right? Or basically spiritual practices, we'll have to rely on self-interest, right? Because fear is simply not an option, and love has to come from free will. In the meantime, what we have is self-interest, and the greatest symbol of self-interest is profit and the opportunity for a better life. And if you redirect that towards the upliftment of humanity, human beings will be uplifted. And the practical form of that will be the creation of an American dream industry where people are getting the American dream based on their own free will, right? Similarly, the way there is gold and the way there is the oil and gas industry. And if you want to know more about it, look at my previous videos where I talk about how the structure of the American Dream coin would look like, or a basic idea of it, right? And it would basically be the dollar pegged to an American Dream cryptocurrency, which is connected to a social network based on a constitutional democracy, where the Constitution lays out what the American Dream is. And then people will be part of that system based on their own free will. And then you'll have in real life like American dream communities, right, all across the nation, where they'll be uplifted and given 1 year's worth of the American dream by corporations who want the American dream coin, right, which they can exchange for like the dollar. And that's the general gist of how it would work. Anyways, that's all I have to say for now. Like, if you like what I'm talking about, please subscribe to my channel, and do talk about this concept with your friends and understand, and if you find this interesting, because it is really important to understand what the real money is. And the real money is always going to be the uplifted human being, because that's how the Father of the universe always sees it. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.